Hello and welcome to episode 1 of the Wetzel's Wisdom podcast. I am your host, Nathan Wetzel. If you've stumbled upon this video, you may be asking yourself, what is this? Well, let me explain. I was born and raised in Kansas City, Missouri. I've always been a diehard Kansas City Royals and Kansas City Chiefs fan. I spend most of my time following these teams. I have a lot of opinions on these teams. So why not make a podcast and share my opinions with you guys, my fans, the fans? So that's exactly what this podcast is going to be. It'll primarily be about the Royals and the Chiefs, but I'll also give my opinions on other top sports headlines of the day that may be related to the NBA, college sports, or something like the Olympics. Truthfully, whatever my listeners want me to talk about, that's what I'll talk about. You guys may also be asking, when are you going to post? When can I watch your podcast? Well, I have a pretty busy schedule right now. I'm pursuing a doctoral degree. I am married, and in my free time, I have a job. So I plan to be pretty flexible with this podcast. I plan to post on Tuesdays and Fridays, but week to week, that may change. You can get any updates on my X account at Wetzels_wisdom, and that is spelled Wetzel at Wetzel. If you follow me on X, I'll give updates on when I'll be posting, and I'll also just give updates on my opinions in just a shorter form there. With all that being said, let's get into today's topics. Today is the Royals opening day of the 2026 MLB season, and there's no better way to kick off a season than to give predictions. So that's what I'm going to do today. Let's start off with the Royals 2026 season record. When I look at the Royals and their record the last 3 or 4 years, I think that's the most relevant time to look because, truthfully, we're in a new era of Royals baseball, and that era is solely built around Bobby Witt Jr. So you have to go look at the last few seasons of the Royals and see what their records were with Bobby and what does that mean for this season, 2026. Well, Bobby came up in 2022, and in 2022, the Royals went 65-97. Did it get better in 2023? No, it didn't. The Royals went 56-106, and it was pretty disappointing. But in 2024, that's the season that the Royals were great. We had an awesome season. They improved. Bobby Witt was incredible. Cole Ragans was incredible. Seth Lugo was incredible. And because of all of that, the Royals went 86-76 and they made the playoffs. Losing that year to the Yankees in the divisional round was pretty disappointing, but the Royals hadn't been to the playoffs since their World Series run in 2015. And it was just incredible to have a team built around a superstar player in Bobby Witt Jr. that made the playoffs, won a playoff series, and then went up against Aaron Judge and the New York Yankees. And yes, we lost, which was extremely disappointing, but the season was a success. But then in 2025, last year, the Royals, they regressed a little bit and they went 82-80, missing out on the playoffs. So now coming into 2026, what's the Royals record going to be? What are we going to be this year? Well, truthfully, I think we have a better team than we had in 2024 and last year in 2025. If you look at the opening day lineup last year, it was pretty bare. And that was frankly true for the whole season. The top 4 hitters with Maikel Garcia, Vinny Pasquantino, Bobby Witt, and Salvador Perez were quality hitters. But 5 through 9 was hit or miss, and a lot of times, unfortunately, it was miss. This year, I think that they have built their team around those 4 players, but you can also include Carter Jensen, Jack Haglione, Isaac Collins, and then we built some depth with Lane Thomas and Starling Marte. And therefore, I think our hitting is going to explode. I think we're going to have a way better offense this year than we had in years past. And because of that, I think we should have a better record than we had last year, and I would hope 2 years ago. And then on the pitching side, we still have a rotation that is extremely deep with Cole Ragans, who is an ace if he stays healthy. Seth Lugo and Michael Wacha are old veterans that are quality guys who will give you quality innings week in and week out. You have Chris Bubich, who, if he stays healthy, he's a Cy Young candidate, truthfully, if he stays healthy. And then Noah Cameron, he was a solid pitcher last year. That does not even to mention what we have in the minor leagues with Berger and Kolick, and even maybe Luinder Avila, who, if he's not starting, he'll be a quality bullpen piece. And our bullpen, I think our bullpen's improved as well with some of the moves that we've made. So when I look at the Royals this year, I truthfully believe that they are a 90-win team. My prediction for the Royals is that they go 90-72. I think that clearly puts them in the playoffs. I think that shows their improvement that they've made since 2024 and 2025. And I think it gives us fans a reason to be extremely excited about what this season is going to be. So next, team MVP. What is the Royals team MVP? Well, that's pretty simple. It's Bobby Witt Jr. There's nobody else. Bobby Witt Jr. will be the team MVP frankly, until he retires. He is that level of player. He's a superstar. We are so blessed as the Royals fans, and we get to watch him every single day play baseball. Now, it's pretty boring just to say Bobby Witt's the team MVP. Okay, let's move on. So who's second? Who else could be a quality player that could maybe become the team MVP if Bobby wasn't there? The easy answer is to say Vinny Pasquantino or Maikel Garcia. But truthfully, I think there's a chance that they may have a regression from the season that they had last year. They're still young. They still could improve. They could have a very similar season than they had last year. But guys, do not be surprised if there is a slight regression from those two players. That may still mean they're the team MVP. That's not Bobby Witt. But I'm going to go bold here. I'm wearing his jersey right now. I'm going with Jack Caglione. The Royals built their team this offseason with the expectation that Jack Caglione takes a massive step forward. All offseason, our biggest glaring hole was our lineup and the outfield. We made moves in the outfield. We traded for Isaac Collins, who he's going to slot in as the everyday left fielder. We signed Lane Thomas, who's going to play a lot in a platoon probably with Kyle Isbell in center field. And then we also go out and we sign Starling Marte, who's a veteran guy who will give you quality plate appearances, and he raises your floor. But none of those guys are a linchpin in the middle of your order that you can count on to be a star player. Jack Caglione has that potential. He has the potential to be a perennial all-star and to be one of the top players in the league. At least one of the top hitters in the league. You also have Carter Jensen, who is extremely well, but I think that Jack's ceiling is so much higher than Carter, and I just believe that they trust in Jack Caglione, and he played extremely well in the World Baseball Classic. I remember watching his at-bat against Tim Hill. He fell down 0-2. I was like, man, I really don't want to see Jack Caglione strike out here. But then a crafty left-handed pitcher, he had a 2-run homer off him. And that was extremely impressive in my opinion. If Jack Caglione can, off a crafty lefty, square a ball up and hit a home run in a big moment, what does that mean for his season this year? And we haven't even talked about the fact that the Royals moved their fences in. Moving the fences in adds home runs and adds more value to power hitters, which the Royals, as we'll get to a little later, have a lot of power hitters in their lineup now. And with all of that being said, yes, Jack has his holes in his game. He's going to have to develop. He's going to have to improve and go through some growing pains. But I don't think that could take 1 or 2 months, and then you could see him have an incredible season being in the lineup every day and giving the Royals quality at-bats and another solid hitter in the middle of that lineup. So I think Jack Caglione is likely, maybe not likely, I'll say it. I think Jack Caglione is likely to be the second best hitter and therefore second best player in the Royals lineup this year. For the pitching side of the equation, who's the team Cy Young? Well, again, it's pretty easy. If Cole Ragans stays healthy, Cole Ragans will be the Cy Young of the Kansas City Royals. He could be the Cy Young of the league. Now, Chris Bubich, he could get there. He could get there. He had an amazing season, but he's also dealt with a lot of injuries. And really, it's just that's going to be a big part and big storyline of the season this year, because that's what hurt us so bad last year is, can our pitching stay healthy? But again, like I said, I think our pitching is deep enough to make up for some of these injuries. And I also think that means that you can give Reagans and give Bubich some rest when they need it. And therefore, Reagans won't be putting as much stretch on his arm, which even if he only makes 25 starts this year, or 25 starts this year, he could be the best pitcher on our team, and therefore the Team Cy Young. Now, I will say my dark horse candidate for a Team Cy Young this year is Ryan Berger. Yes, he's starting the season in AAA, but he is an amazing pitcher, in my opinion. I think that he has the potential to be another ace of the staff. Could we have a rotation that has 3 pseudo aces in the staff with Cole Reagans, Chris Bubich, and Ryan Berger? I think yes. And I think right when someone gets hurt, right when someone needs a rest, Berger comes up. This also is, we'll get to this a little in the disappointment, but this also is because I'm wondering if Noah Cameron could have some struggles this year. He had a good year last year, but I could see him struggling this year in the role not in the role that he's in, but just as our 5th starter. Is he going to be a better option come May, June, July than Berger? I don't think so. And I think Berger ends up either taking that position from Cameron or filling in for whatever injury we have or whenever we need to give some of these starters some rest. So next on the list, who's our surprise player? What player is going to be the most surprising for the Kansas City Royals this year? Well, I think the most surprising player the Royals will have this year, I'm hopeful, is Lane Thomas. In 2023, Lane Thomas had an incredible season with the Washington Nationals. He had 28 home runs, and I think that that's something that's extremely underrated with Lane Thomas. I'm just going to look here real quick at his 2023 season. In 2023, Lane Thomas had 3.3 WAR. He played in 156 games, hitting 268, 315, 468 slash line. Had a 783 OPS. Like I said, he hit 28 homers, had 86 RBIs. I don't know if he's exactly going to get back to that player, but the Royals did hire 2 new hitting coaches with Marcus Thames and Connor Dawson, and I think that they could really improve his swing, improve the holes in his game, and the fact that he hits so good against lefties, I think makes him an extremely valuable piece of this Royals team, and I think that he could be a player that surprises a lot of people, because I don't think a lot of people think of Lane Thomas as a big factor of the team this year. But if Lane Thomas can slide into the order and get 300 at-bats this year, platooning with Kyle Isbell, or if there's injuries, get even more at-bats than that, and get somewhat back to the form he had in 2023, I think he could be a surprise player on our team and be someone who really contributes that we don't expect. The adverse to that is who's going to be our biggest disappointment. I don't want to make this decision. I really, really like this player. I really don't want him to be disappointing. But guys, I'm a little worried about Seth Lugo. I think he was kind of ran down last year because he was one of those guys who was a reliever and then became a starter. But I'm nervous that this may be a year where Seth Lugo has some struggles. He's getting older. I don't know, guys. I just have a really bad feeling about Seth Lugo. And like I said earlier, in our rotation, that may be okay. So even if he is a disappointment, I think that we're deep enough to make up for that. And a disappointment for Seth Lugo is also when in 2024, he was second in Cy Young voting. That's not the guy he is. He's not going to be that year in, year out. I think more likely he's similar to what Michael Wacha has been. And I think that Michael Wacha is so solid in that role that he's had that he's just going to keep going. But Seth Lugo had the incredible year that he had. And then last year was extremely tough at times. So I'm just worried that he's not as consistent as Waka, and therefore he's someone who right now he's our number 2 starter, but in a couple months, is he going to be looked at a guy who's maybe our 4th, 5th starter and just kind of being a workhorse, crafty guy? I'm a little worried about Seth Lugo. Now, I think he still could have a great season, but my little warning out there is be wary of what Seth Lugo may be. The young guys, the rookies. Who's the Royals' top rookie this year? Well, that's a pretty easy one. The top rookie the Royals have this year should be Carter Jensen. Now, I think Jack Caglione has a higher ceiling than Carter Jensen, but with how Jensen played last year and how he's looked in spring training, I think Jensen has a much higher floor than Jack Caglione. And therefore, if Carter Jensen can come into the lineup and every day be a quality hitter, have an above average WRC plus, have an above average WAR, that he can just be a productive player in our lineup, he could really improve the floor of what our offense can be this year. So I would say that the best rookie this year will be Carter Jensen. The one person I want to bring up that would be a rookie if he comes up this year, he could be a nice surprise. If there's a lot of injuries would take him coming up. But I think Gavin Cross could be a surprising rookie who comes up this year and has a decent season. Now, I think if he does come up, it'll be late in the year. It may be a September call-up, which he's not going to be the best rookie if he's here for a month. But Gavin Cross, depending on how he starts in the minors, I think there's a real chance that he may be a guy who, if you see some injuries in the outfield, you call up Gavin Cross, and could he be a surprise player who gets slotted into the lineup every couple of days and has some quality at bats? I could see that. He was a high draft pick. He was one of the last picks of the Dayton Moore era, but I think Gavin Cross could be a massive, massive dark horse. Good rookie this year. So all of that comes together. 90-72 record. What does that mean? Did we win our division? Did we make the playoffs? What does that mean? I think we will make the playoffs. Unfortunately, I think we'll be a wild card team. The Tigers have an extremely good team. They went on and they signed Framber Valdez. They have Tariq Skubal. They signed Justin Verlander. Yes, I know he's old, but Justin Verlander is a quality guy. They have a deep pitching staff. They have a deep lineup. I think that they could see some regression from some of their offensive hitters. I don't think they have a lot of big names, but they just have a lot of quality guys. And therefore, the Tigers, they should win the division. They should be a 90-plus win team. They should take advantage, like I hope the Royals take advantage of the weak AL Central. And I think that the Tigers will probably have a better record than the Royals, and therefore the Royals will likely be second in the division. But with a 90-72 record, I think that makes the Royals a playoff team. Now, the Royals are a playoff team. What does that mean in the playoffs? I think it'll be similar to 2024. I think they could easily win a series if we're healthy going into the playoffs and our 1-2 punch is Reagans and Bubic. You could get 6 or 7 quality innings from them, have a good bullpen, and just have what we had in 2024 and have low scoring games and just sweep your team in the wildcard round, whether that's a division winner, if you're the last seed, or if that's just the other wildcard team. But the ALDS is a different story. The American League is kind of weird. I think that the American League is deep, but I also think that they're extremely top heavy. So, I mean, those things can't really be said in the same breath, but I think that you have the AL East, which is loaded. The Blue Jays are going to be good this year. The Yankees should be good this year. The Red Sox have built a great team. I think the Red Sox could be really good this year. The Orioles, if they improve from what they were last year, they could be really good this year. The Rays are always a frisky team. You look at the AL West, Astros are a good team. They're ran extremely well. They have some quality players. They could be good. The Rangers, I think, made some good offseason moves. It could be good. A lot of people think the A's have a chance to be good with the young lineup they have and some of the studs they have in their order. I think that the AL side of the bracket is good. So with the Royals coming into ALDS and they're facing these teams who, frankly, in the Blue Jays, Yankees, and Red Sox just outspin the Royals, have way more stud star players than the Royals at the moment. I think that the Royals, unfortunately, will lose in the ALDS this year. Now, if I had to give a bold prediction, I think the Royals could be the champions of the American League. I think they could win the pennant. I truly do think the Royals have a pitching staff. They have an offense that if the offense hits their ceiling, the Royals could definitely win the pennant. I also think that if they win the pennant, that'll be because they make a big move at the deadline. So I was hoping they would maybe make another move this offseason, but they didn't, trusting their guys, which is fine. And from a cost perspective, it's probably what the Royals have to do. But I think that if the deadline comes and we're having a good year and we're maybe in the lead of our division or fighting with the Tigers and fighting for wild card spots and fighting for seeding, I think we could go and make a trade with the depth of our pitching, with a rising prospects in our minor leagues. I think that we could go and swing a trade for another bat or for a bullpen piece if we're facing injuries or whatever we need at that time to improve our team and then make a run for the playoffs. And that could be a massive trade for someone like a CJ Abrams or James Wood from the blow it all up Washington Nationals, or that could just be someone who no one really expects, that's just a quality pickup at the deadline, like they did in 2024, going and getting Yuli Gurriel and Tommy Pham and all these random guys who everyone was like, what are we doing? But then when you looked at the Royals playoff lineup in 2024, they were all in it, and they were quality guys. So I really do think that the Royals have a chance to have an incredible year, be 90-72, make the playoffs, and they could go really far. So it's an exciting time to be a Royals fan, and I think we just have to soak it up and pray that there's not a lockout in 2027, because you do not want to miss a year of Bobby Witt Jr., Michael Garcia, Vinny Pasquantino, Perez at the end of his career, and Jack Caglione if he improves, Carter Jensen if he improves, Cole Reagans. We cannot lose years of these guys, especially as Royals fans. It's a great time to be a Royals fan, and I think that this year can really prove that. The last thing I want to talk about is my bold prediction. So I told you guys that I think that the Royals could win the pennant. That's a bold prediction. But I think that my bold prediction is more team-specific and also player-specific. My bold prediction this year is that the Kansas City Royals will, for the first time in franchise history, have 4 players hit 30 or more home runs. Now that's crazy. What's crazier is the Royals have never had 3 players hit 30 or more home runs in a season. And they've only had 2 seasons where the Kansas City Royals have had 2 players hit 30 or more home runs. That was last year with Salvador Perez and Vinny Pasquantino. And then the other year, you have to go all the way back to our first World Series year in 1985 when Steve Balboni and George Brett both hit 30 home runs in the same season. I kind of wanted to go kind of not as bold and say 3 Royals players are going to hit 30 plus home runs. But then I was like, no, let's go with 4 Royals players this year will hit 30 plus home runs. Who are those 4 players? The easy answer is Bobby Witt Jr., Vinny Pasquantino, Salvador Perez, and Jack Caglione. Those 4 guys have the power to hit 30-plus home runs. In an awesome world, Bobby could go 40-40 and hit 40 home runs. Salvi has shown you he hit 48. Now, he's not that guy anymore, but he's hit 48 in his career. He hit 30 last year. Vinny Pasquantino last year hit 33 home runs. These guys have the ability to hit 30-plus home runs. That's not to mention, we have at least 3 other guys that I think could get the 30 home runs. The first one is Carter Jensen. Now, I don't know if he has that much power, and I don't know if that's not the role he's going to be in. His role is not going to be, hey, Carter, we need you to go hit 30 home runs. But Carter Jensen could, especially with the fences moved in, power and square the ball up and hit you 30 home runs. Another guy, I think Maikel Garcia could hit 30 home runs. Now, that's not the player he is either, but if he decides with the fences moved in, and if he gets moved down in the order to put someone else up in that leadoff spot, or if Bobby wants to lead off and he gets put at the 2-hole or the 5-hole or even the 3-hole, and he's just like, hey, I got some guys in front of me, I can hit home runs. He could get up to 30. I think he's more likely a 15 to 20 home run hitter, but he could get to 30. And then, I talked about this earlier, Lane Thomas hit 28 home runs in 2023. I don't think he's going to play enough, but if there's injuries or if he has a great season in his platoon role, there is a world where Lane Thomas hits 30 home runs. So I really do believe that the Royals this year will have at least 3, but my bold prediction is 4 players to hit 30-plus home runs. To conclude here, another slight bold prediction, may not be that bold, but I really think he's going to have a great year. I'm super excited for it, and so I'm going all in. I think Jack Caglione breaks out this year and hits 40-plus home runs. He is a guy who could be that for his whole career, and I hope that this is the year that he breaks out, proves himself to be a middle-of-the-order bat who will be a stud in the Royals lineup for the rest of his contract and hopefully career. Because this jersey right here, this Jack Caglione jersey, it's got to be worth it. It's got to be worth it. And if he hits 40-plus home runs, it'll be worth it just for this year. But I think it'll show that he's got the potential to be really good for many years to come. Bonus, I think the Royals should go sign him to an extension like right now before he has a season that I'm hoping he has this year. But, that's maybe some wishful thinking here. Well, that's all I got for you guys today. I hope you enjoyed this podcast, this first episode. I'm excited to get started, to have a following, to give my opinion, to put it out there, and just to enjoy this time that we're living in as Kansas City fans with the Royals. And I didn't even talk about the Chiefs, but we'll do that a lot in the future. So, hey, let's enjoy it. Let's enjoy 2026. Let's enjoy opening day. Let's hope for a Royals win tonight, and let's hope for a playoff victory come October 2026. Thank you very much for watching. As always, I really hope that you guys like the video. You can like, you can subscribe, you can go to Twitter or X and follow me at Wetzels_wisdom. And with all that being said, see you later.